To get around the bit from Bridgewater up to the Peak District, that's a bit unfathomable. How do you get around Bristol? How do you get around Bath? You know, Cotswolds is interesting, but it's difficult to make any progress through the Cotswolds without getting stuck on the Foss Way, which is a bit congested. But as soon as you hit Matlock, you know, the route through Matlock, through the Peak District's got some of the best riding. And if you don't go on a weekend, and I think that's the secret to exploring the UK, is get some time off in the week. Go through the Peak District on a weekend and it's full of traffic, cyclists, all sorts of, and it's very difficult to feel that openness of it. But go on a midweek, especially September, got some beautiful roads up through there. I think one of the favourite points is where you can dip down onto the M62, you look above and there's this expressway of lorries and cars and they're all going to work and that, and then the road underneath it is empty and you're just bypassing all this traffic that I guess in day-to-day life we're always dealing with traffic, but you avoid that through Peak District, you really get away from it. And then as you go up to Yorkshire Dales, up to Hawes, Ribbon-Hill Viaduct, if anybody's not been up there, that's a fantastic open, the road up towards the viaduct is probably the most demanding, twisty, flowing road I've ever encountered between here and Australia. Get up to Hawes. Got places like Danny's Bunkhouse, if anybody knows, if anybody wants a good place to stay up in Cumbria. Haggs Bank, it's a biker who set up a homestead. He simply turned a derelict, abandoned minehead building, turned it into probably the best bunkhouse in the UK. He holds motorcycle events 2 days. Actually, I think there's flyers out and about. He's got motorcycle events throughout the year. And it's just set in a beautiful location, really good riding roads around Cumbria, North Yorkshire Dales. And then probably one of my favourite stretches is when you go up from Alston, where they are in Cumbria, up to Gretna. And if you go west from Gretna towards Dumfries, and then take a road off there, I'm trying to think of the name of it, I can't remember, and it goes all the way up to Ayr. And that road there again is sensational. Open, no traffic on it, really well sighted. So if you like a bit of spirited riding, it's such a great place to wind up there. Air's a bit frustrating because you've got to go around the long bypass. And then the secret to getting up to the Highlands, anybody planning a Scotland trip, is to avoid Edinburgh and Glasgow, go to the Gurrock to Dunoon ferry. That's a fantastic little short ferry, 20 minutes, £5 or £6 or so. It takes you from Port Glasgow, which is to the west of Glasgow, and it takes you from there basically into the Highlands, and it takes you into Dunoon. Not far from there is Inveraray, and you have avoided all that urban and BC built-up area between Glasgow and Edinburgh. Straight up from Inveraray, you're straight onto the NC 500. You can pick up Applecross very easy. If anybody's not been up to Applecross, it's such a fantastic pass. It's as exciting as any Himalayan pass, and it's bleak. If you get there and you've got bad weather, which is a good chance of it, there'll be poor visibility, and very blustery, very wet. I ran a second garbage run, and I got a learner rider, Dave Martin, bless him, he just survived bowel cancer. He got L plates on his bike, he got a Derby 125, and he stuck to my tail like glue all the way from Land's End, bless him. I think he was a bit nervous about doing it, so he was stuck on my tail. Come up to Applecross, and got all these riders we were camping in Applecross. The weather was as bad as I'd seen it, blustery and wet. It's like, well, we've got to go over it. And it's a real test of someone's mettle to get over that passive bad weather. Strong blustery winds, head-on rain, poor visibility, and through really it's basically a single track tarmac road, steep drops either side, and we've got an L-plater battling his way over it. And I think it's, if you want challenging riding, then it's a fantastic place to head. And then from Applecross, you're taking all the single track roads up around the NC 500, up to Durness. And that road across the top from Durness to John O'Groats, again, such an empty road. The NC 500, the North Coast 500, if people are not familiar with it, it was a guy who came up with this idea to get more tourists to Scotland. So he came up with this name, came up with this route, started promoting it, and it's really took off. It gets a lot of overseas riders and sports car drivers, and I think some people, the marketing of it suggests it's a high-speed circuit, and it's kind of the opposite. It's a narrow, single track, passing places, poorly sighted, poorly surfaced in places. You've got a lot of camper vans, you've got a lot of motorcyclists, and then you'll get guys in Ferraris, Lamborghinis thinking they can, a good spirited drive through here. it has the potential to be chaos, and I think the locals up there see it as a good and a bad thing. It's put a hell of a lot of money up there, but at the same time it's put a lot of pressure on resources, on roads, etc. I would say if you're going to go to Scotland, go in the off season, go in May, maybe June, go in September, don't go July and August, that's when the midges come out. You know, they are a bit of a blight up there in Scotland. If you get midge season, it's as bad as any outback fly, really. And again, give yourself plenty of time. I think the thing is that people with a UK trip, as with any trip, they try and be too ambitious with the mileage. I think 200 miles, and somebody said it earlier, 200 miles is a really perfect top level mileage per day. Any more than that and all you're doing is chasing miles. You're not seeing as much, you're not having the time to engage and stop in cafes and restaurants or whatever you want to do, stop and chat to people. I think if you start pushing to 250, 300, it just becomes about riding a bike and not really experiencing it. And I think you've got to be realistic about how much time you've got. And if you haven't got as much time as you like, then shorten your trip. I think that's a crucial thing, really. Up to Land's End, I mean Land's End, sorry, John O'Groats. Some people hate John O'Groats, but I kind of like the end of the road charm of it. It's had a lot of EU money up there. They're really desperate to turn it into a tourist hub, but it's just a bleak outpost. There is a sign there, you can have your photo taken with. There's a hotel there, this glamorous, almost castle type building, which is always empty. I don't think anyone stays up there. These beautiful centre parks, lodges up there as well. Again, they're mainly empty. I think they churn so much money into it to try and turn it into a destination. But the reality is, there's nothing in John O'Groats. But that's that sense of achievement. You know, when you get there, even Land's End to John O'Groats is a huge achievement when you get to John O'Groats. And I think again, when you start coming south, the A9 down the east, it's a great road, great riders road, with some really nice curves, well sighted. Get some sunshine, get a blue sky down there. It's as good as riding as anyway. And coming down, obviously Inverness, they've just designated the NE 250, or I forget the two abbreviations before it. It's basically the Northeast 250, so it's another tourist generated route to get people into that eastern area of Scotland. So that's new for, I think, last year, 2 years ago. MCN, I think we've done a story on that. They took a Royal Enfield Himalayan around there. And again, it's just to get people into that eastern area of Scotland. Eastern coast of England, you know, you start coming down towards Whitby, Scarborough, if anybody's not done that. That's again some brilliant riding. From Whitby to Scarborough Road, and then heading inland to Goatland, where they filmed Heartbeat and all those sort of areas around there. And there's some really narrow tarmac trails that lead down to sort of towards Malton, I guess, and towards York. So I think they're a personal highlight. I've not done the southeast as much, I guess. Is there much down there? Southeast? There's some fantastic trail riding though, I think, in the east. I was surprised they did a story with Bennett's. We took a Himalayan and a 310 GS, and we did some trails out towards Cromer and leaving Peterborough and heading towards Cromer. There's some fantastic trails that just go along fields and really open and expansive. I think the guys to talk to if you want to do some UK trail riding, TRF, obviously finding roads to ride in the UK or off-road roads is really tricky. And I think you can look at an OS map and still come away completely confused as to what's legal or not legal. And you can look on an OS map and think there's no green lanes in your area at all. Go to the talks of TRF guys who know the area, and there's some fantastic lanes around everyone's neck of the woods. Around London, I believe there's some good riding to be done, some off-road riding. In terms of bike choice, I've been running a Royal Enfield Himalayan this year. I bought it just to see how it was, really. I didn't have high expectations of it. £4,000 bike, how good can it be? But I think I found it to be as exciting as any other bike you could have bought at any price range. And I think as soon as you start avoiding the motorways, the fact it's only got 25 horsepower is perfectly acceptable. It doesn't matter if you've got 50 horsepower or 100 horsepower. It's kind of irrelevant. You just want a bike that rides nicely, that deals with bumps well, carries load well. You know, travelling light is always imperative to get as much weight reduction as possible. So do you want to take 2 pairs of shoes and 3 pairs of trousers? Not really. You want to take as little as possible. And that applies whether you've got a 1200cc bike or 400cc bike. There's no point taking stuff that you never pull out of a pannier, because that's just wasted weight and wasted weight and wasted time, I suppose. I mean, I've just fitted panniers. I'm running this V-Strom 1000 as a long termer this year. I've just fitted some boom-up panniers to it, and I've gone for the smallest they do, which is a 31 on the right-hand side to go around the exhaust, with a 35 on the left. You obviously do a bigger pannier. But do you want a bigger pannier? Because a bigger pannier, you're just going to put more stuff in it. I think it's nice to have a metal pannier. I think when you're touring, the practicality of being able to store things neatly is really useful. I do like it. But you can go too big, you can start cramming with so much stuff that you'll never need. I think what I advise when people, I've carried on doing these garbage run trips. Garbage run doesn't necessarily denote the bike, it's more the frame of mind, the less than professional nature to motorcycle travel. I think some people think you've got to look the part and do it in the right way, and do it with the right attitude. I kind of like it that anybody turns up on any bike with any attitude and we all go together. And I've got a doctor riding with a mechanic, with a young lady to an old man, and that's the idea of motorcycle travel. It's getting people moving and seeing the world from a different perspective. And I think one issue people have with, do I take cooking gear, do I take camping gear? I think if you're not camping, the beauty of the UK is a YHA system. So many good hostels in really beautiful parts of the world. There's a hostel down at Land's End, it offers the best camping view you could ever have anywhere. It overlooks the bay, you're in a grassy field with the hostel behind you, you've got access to toilets and everything, but out of the tent you've got this view of the oceans like nothing else. £12 a night or whatever it is, £10 a night, and if you want a bed, they've got a hostel there. So I think you could easily set off on a bike with a tank bag for a week-long trip, maybe a dry bag on the back, stay at the YHAs, and you could see some of the best parts of the country quite easily. Camping obviously allows a lot more flexibility, and it allows you to travel that little bit cheaper, and I think it brings...
The show will close in 10 minutes time.
Cool. I think the beauty of camping as well, and I encourage camping on all my trips, because it changes the dynamic of it. When you've woken up in a tent and gone to sleep in a tent, and you're riding all day and you're sleeping in a tent, and you're riding all day the next day and you sleep in a tent, it becomes, you are living that adventure, you are living that experience of being on the road. And again, it becomes irrelevant whether it's UK or Morocco or Thailand. It's the fact that you're living off your bike, you're completely self-sufficient. And so I encourage camping, and it's very easy to camp. You know, a simple tent, get a cheap dome tent, a four-cornered one, a self-standing one, get a tent from Mountain Warehouse of Forever doing sales, get a 30 quid tent, a 20 quid tent, get a 3-season sleeping bag for 30 quid. You know, for less than 100 quid, 80 quid, you've got a really solid camping kit there, and that'll take you everywhere around the UK. Stoves and things, I think you can think you're going to do more cooking than you actually do. I think a place to boil some water for a cup of tea is ideal, but you can do that with a really small boiler. The rest of the time, fish and chips, or get a takeaway, or go and eat in a pub. I think the best campsites are sometimes the ones out the back of a pub, and there's some good websites out there. Pickup is a good one. Sounds a bit dodgy, I suppose. No, Pitch Up, not Pickup. Sorry. That's the other one I've been on. Pickup. I did read my wife on Plenty of Fish. Don't tell her that, or that she's pregnant. Yeah, Pitch Up is a great other website where you can put in that you want to find campsites that are attached to pubs. Beauty of a pub campsite, sometimes the facilities are kind of basic, they don't always have showers even, but they're right next to a pub. And I'm finding that most people who come on my trips, all they want in an evening is a pub. And if you give them a pub where they can get some food, the rest of the day it doesn't matter, whether it's been wet, cold or whatever. We had one night where, on the first one, we were staying at Ian Coates' place. Everybody knows Ian Coates. 15 years around the world on an African twin, as wild a man as you could ever hope for me, a big towering man, now in his 70s, he's fell off his ladder in his A-barn twice and knocked sense out of him. So he's completely lost it. And we were going to stay at his farm in Ebden Bridge. Ebden Bridge is, it's in I don't know, Yorkshire Dales, I think, Peak District. And his farm is right at the top on the moors, and we got there in wet and windy, most miserable weather you could hope to have, and that was in May. And somebody said, oh, I think there's a pub just down the road, and that was it. They had a wet day on the bike, and they had a wet day, they had a wet night putting the tent up, and they had a wet night in the tent, but they had a pub, a fireplace and a meal. And that kind of made everything right. So it's the simple things on a bike trip that really kind of make the difference. And I think the best advice is not to listen to too much advice, just do it your way. There's no right way to travel on a bike, there's no right ride, there's no right kit, there's no right way, there's no right way to stay. You know your personality, you know whether you like to have things planned in advance, you know if you're a warrior, you know if you want to impress people with the size of your bike, or you're happy with something smaller. You know yourself better than anyone else. So I think the problem people have got into is asking for too much advice, and Facebook and the forums has become a trap, because they'll post up a question, what's the best 10, and then 3,000 people will tell you a different answer. And have you actually gained anything? No, you've just got more confusion. You know what you need for a tent, you know how much you want to pay, just go down to a camping shop and buy one. And it's the same with a bike, Ask people's advice if you really need it, otherwise just go down to the bike shop and test a few bikes, see what you like. And I think travelling is trial and error. You'll know how many miles you want to ride in a day. 200's too short maybe, 300's too short, maybe you want to do 500, maybe you need Sanders and you can do 1,000. There is no way. Some people want to do 100. I just took 12 across America. Some days we did 200, some days we did 100, some days we did 80. There is no best way, and I think if you learn to travel in the UK, you can travel anywhere. And I think whether we did that trip in America, actually exactly the same principles apply. Finding places to stay, doing it to your own pace, cooking, camping. It's safe. America, South America, Thailand, Australia. The principles of traveling on a bike are identical. And I think the main thing to leave on is, as long as you're enjoying what you're doing, who cares if it's not a global trip? Who cares if it's not got exotic photos? If you're enjoying time on your bike, that's kind of the only thing, isn't it? It doesn't care what anybody else thinks. So, thanks for the time. Thanks for all the speakers who've come today. Sorry, I'm a bit flat. I'm flagged for being putting this together. So, and I actually expected everyone's talks to run on, so I wouldn't have to do this. So I have come unprepared, which I apologise for. But you're not paid to see me, so that's all right. I don't really want anything, I suppose. But thank you. Everyone get home safe. Really appreciate the speakers and for everyone taking the time to sit and listen. So thanks again. Cheers.